Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 2 of my TBR takedown. Saddest books I have ever read. This is like sick, like I'm having a hard time reading this. So clearly we have an extensive amount of books on my physical TBR and we are going to be cutting that number down today. So I believe there are 41 books here. I believe that's the number that I got to. The last episode of this, I believe I got the number down to like 35 or something. So obviously that number has grown. So obviously we're not doing a very good job at sticking to my physical TBR. The book buying ban has been a little bit difficult for me to stick to, if I'm being so honest, but we're here. We're going to film another one of these videos. That was like a couple months ago too, so actually no, the number should be like 20 by now. But we have our physical TBR here, so we're going to be reading through this for the next week or so, and we're just gonna see what the number is that we can get this down to. So our first read is actually one that I am so excited to read. It is Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and if you know me, you know how much I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. She is my favorite author of all time, and so I've read like a majority of her books, so I'm trying to just read all the ones that I haven't, and so this is the next one that I own that I'm going to be reading. So with that being said, let's get into our first book. We have Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Okay, so I am just about at the I'm just about at the 50% mark. I'm 47% through, and this is by far one of the saddest books I have ever read. And I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. She is my favorite author, so when I'm going into her books, like, I'm not reading the synopsis. I'm just gonna read it because I have loved every single book that she has ever written. So I didn't know what this one was about. I just went in completely blind, and we're basically following the story of a woman becoming a widow and dealing with the grief. So the first chapter literally starts with the incident happening where she loses her husband, and then we're flashing back and forth between when they met and then now when she's grieving and everything. So we're seeing them falling in love, and then we're seeing them now when she's dealing with her grief and mourning her husband and dealing with his whole family. And also because they didn't even know, his whole family didn't even know that she existed. They had gotten married like not even 2 weeks before his passing. They had only been dating for 6 months, so no one's really aware of her existence, and so she's dealing with that as well. It's very, very sad and very hard to read. For the first like 30 pages, I was like, I don't know if I can read this, but honestly it did get better. It was just those first 30 pages that were rough, and I don't know what the rest of the book is gonna look like, but as of now it has gotten like a little less heavy. But if you like sad books, this book is for you because this one's sad. But as always, I just love her writing, and I swear I feel like I could read whatever she decided to write. Like if she decided to write a book about snails or something, I feel like I could read it. Like her writing is just so captivating to me and so interesting, and I don't know, she has such a writing style that's so unique, and I just love her books so much. So I am enjoying this one, but it is sad, very sad. So those are my thoughts currently. We, like I said, are about halfway, so I'm just gonna keep on reading this. We'll see how it goes. I feel like not much is going on besides we're just following our female main character dealing with this grief that literally just happened, and then on the other side of it we're watching her fall in love with her husband. So I have about 60 pages left, so I am wrapping up, and like all of the chapters, they start with like a month at the top to kind of like signify whether it's like the past or present, because all of this takes place within the span of 6 months, or it kind of extends to like being like closer to a year. But now we're in May in the past, and when her husband passed away, it was June, so we're like nearing, like literally the next month is gonna be when it happens. And so we're nearing the end of this book, obviously, and I'm loving this. But like I said, like she could write anything and I think I would love it. The pacing is just so fast. Like I sit down to read and I just feel like I want to keep going, especially in a book like this where, like I said, it takes place in like less than a year. So the pacing of this is just perfection, and her writing is just perfection, and the story is just, I feel like it's really beautiful, just the way that she's writing this story. But I will talk more about that once we finish it and once I figure out how this is gonna end, because there's only 60 pages left and she needs to resolve this story, and I just don't know yet how that's gonna happen. But let's keep reading, let's finish this book, and then we will talk about it because I'm loving this book. Okay, so I have finished Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and also yesterday I saw a clip of her talking on TikTok. It was some like panel or like interview thing that she was doing, and she mentioned that her next book is currently a work in progress, and I am so excited about that because there was such a huge, like I think it was like 3 years between Carrie Soto's Back and Atmosphere. Like it took so long for another book of hers to come out, which I understand because she did so much research for Atmosphere, and obviously people write at their own pace, and in order to write as incredibly as she does, I understand that it takes a while. But anyways, I'm just really excited about that. But back to the actual book. I ended up rating this 4 stars. Like I told you guys, like the first like 20 pages I was not sure if I was going to continue this book. I didn't know if I could, because the whole premise of this book is literally my greatest fear. I have nightmares about something like this happening. I have panic attacks. Literally, like, it's a constant fear of mine, like literally my greatest fear. So I didn't know if I would be able to continue this, but those first 20 pages, they kind of flew by. And after that, we're really just focusing on our female main character's grief and just how she's getting through like month by month. And I think that, like, I don't know how realistic this is to someone who's going through something like this. So I can't like speak for the fact that, oh yeah, this is like a great representation of grief. I don't know that. So I'm not gonna like sit here and pretend like, oh yeah, like this is a great book if you like deal with stuff like this, like maybe this is something you could relate to, because I don't know. I don't want to be like saying that when I have no idea. But grief is so heavily discussed through every single page of this book. So if that is something that you are sensitive to, or if you just do not like reading about that, then definitely steer clear away from this book. But if you if you like sad books, or if you aren't sensitive to that, I would definitely recommend this, because it was a very beautiful book. There were times when I wasn't really liking our female main character or our male main character when we were like reading about their past relationship, or like how they fell in love and everything. He's going crazy. Literally, what is he doing? So I really enjoyed it. I rated it 4 stars. It's not my, I think it's probably my least favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I've read. I don't think it's going to stick with me the way that her other books have, but I of course enjoyed it. Like I said earlier in this video, she could write about anything and I will read it. And yeah, so now it is time to move on to our next book, and I actually know what it is going to be. We're going to be reading Pet Sematary. It is currently October 22nd, so we're nearing like the end of spooky season, kind of, or we're sort of like getting closer to Halloween, and so this is like the perfect opportunity to read this. And I've mentioned in several of my videos that every October for the past few years I have read a Stephen King book. So 3 years ago I read It, 2 years ago I read The Shining, and then last year I read Salem's Lot. So now we are on Pet Sematary, and I started reading this yesterday. I'm literally on page 19, but there's something really cool that I want to share with you guys. So like literally, like whenever he does this, I just get so excited. He always mentions, well, not always, but like there's certain times in certain books and stuff like that, and also in the show 11/22/63, like if you're like, I don't know if it's like closer to the end of the series or if you can like find little like hints like all throughout the series, but you can find like little hints of like his other shows and like little like shout outs, little like hidden things from like his other books and stuff like that. So anyways, I'm reading this and I get to page 16, and our main character, he's sitting with his new neighbor, this old guy, and this old guy is just like telling him more about the town and stuff like that. And he starts talking about the rabies in Maine and the pet cemetery and stuff like that. So he says, lots of rabies in Maine now. There was a big old St. Bernard went rabid downstate a couple of years ago and killed 4 people. That was a hell of a thing. If those foolish people had seen that dog had had its shots, it never would have happened. And I was like, wait a second. So I immediately went onto my phone and I was like, what kind of dog is Cujo? And I saw that he was a St. Bernard, and then I typed in how many people did Cujo kill, and it said 4 people. I was like, so you're talking about Cujo. You're talking about Cujo right here. And I've never read Cujo. I've never seen the movie or anything, but like I just know that like he was a rabid dog that killed people, I think. I don't even know much about the story, but I read that and I was like, could this be a little hidden message towards one of his other books? And it was, and I just think that that's so cool. Like I love when he does that. I love when he just like leaves those little sprinklings of those things in his book. So anyways, this is our next read. I'm just so excited. You guys, I don't know why I always forget how much I love Stephen King's books and his writing, but like I usually only read like 1 to 2 of his books a year. Usually just 1. Like I think for the past few years it's just been 1 book a year. Anyways, I just am so, I love this. Like this is so good. Like it does take me a lot longer to get through his books than others, which is like weird because like I enjoy them more than most other books, but it just takes me so long to get through them, and I don't know what it is, but I've heard other people say it too. But I think that this is just so cozy. So far, our main character moves to this new town in Maine with his wife and 2 kids and their cat, Church. And there's this neighbor that he's introduced to like right away. He's like this old man and his wife, and right away pretty much that old man takes our main character and the whole family over to the pet cemetery, which basically these kids made for burying their pets. And that's okay. I was always so confused why cemetery was spelled with an S and like why it was spelled wrong. I was like, why are we doing this? And it's because the kids wrote it in the story. So like they spelled it wrong because cemetery sounds like it should have an S, but really it has a C. So that's why it's spelled wrong. I was always so confused by that. But I'm going into this book completely blind. I have no idea what the story is about. I didn't read this and I just don't know anything about this. So I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I don't know what's gonna happen. But we're basically if you've read this, we're at the point where he's alone at the house. His wife and his 2 kids are visiting her parents. So he's alone at the house right now and he's really like freaked out and stuff. And I'm sensing something creepy starting to happen, and I just feel like it's like I'm at the point where it's gonna start going downhill from here, because I feel like something just happened that was pretty crucial to the downfall of what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna actually try really hard to finish this like tomorrow. Like I'm gonna try to read as much as I can. I've been switching back and forth between my Kindle and reading it physically because it is on Kindle Unlimited. But I just love this cover too. Sorry, this is so off topic, but like this cover is stunning. Like it just feels like a vintage Stephen King book, because like they did like the vintage look to it. I don't know, I'm just like obsessed with this book. I'm always so surprised with every Stephen King book that I write. I'm like, why don't I read more of his books? And maybe it's because I space them out so much that I always really enjoy them. But obviously I don't know what I'm gonna rate this one yet, but I'm looking at my Stephen King collection over here in the corner. You can't really see it, but I've rated all of them at least like a 4.5 stars. Like his books are just so good. It makes me want to read all of them. But I am just loving this so far, and I will keep you guys updated with my thoughts. But the thing is, it's like that not much is said on the back, so I don't want to say too much and like give anything away until I really know the premise of this, and then I can like fill you guys in. But since I don't know what's gonna happen, I don't want to say what's going on in case it's like spoilers. So I'm just gonna shut my mouth for now, and we're gonna keep reading, and I'm just really enjoying it. So this book is not at all what I thought it was going to be. Like I could not have guessed what this book was going to turn into. Like I'm shocked. Everything that's happened so far, but we've reached a new level of what is going on. Literally what is gonna happen, what's going on. Like how does Stephen King come up with this stuff? Like I thought it was bad with like, okay, after I finish reading this, I'm gonna tell you guys what I thought this book was gonna be, and then it's just so not what it's turned out to be. I'm really enjoying it, but like I just could not have ever guessed that it was gonna take this turn. Literally, what the hell? What? This is like sick. Like I'm having a hard time reading this at this point. Like again, I'm enjoying it, but like what the actual hell? You guys, yesterday I read 42% of Pet Sematary, and I finished it. And like I said yesterday, I was gonna tell you guys where I thought this book was going, and I'm gonna try to keep this as spoiler free as possible. I thought that this book was gonna become like a haunted sort of pets coming back and being evil, sort of like a Cujo situation. I don't really know about Cujo, I just know he was on rabies and like killed people. So it was like, I was thinking that like these pets were gonna like come back, like the Pet Cemetery, all the pets were gonna rise and be evil and like kill people. I had no idea the direction that this book was gonna go. I could not have guessed it until obviously like the thing happened that led to what ended up happening. But it just got so morbid and disturbing. Like I seriously just was not expecting the turn that it took. and for that it kind of like knocked my rating down, just because I don't personally love to read about stuff like that. Like, it just got a little bit too disturbing for my taste. But Stephen King's writing, I was hooked the whole time. I loved the characters, I loved seeing where we were gonna go, and even after it took the really disturbing turn, I was not like turned off from the book. I still wanted to find out what was gonna happen. And obviously if it was a bad book, if I really didn't enjoy it, I couldn't have read 42% of the book in one day, you know what I mean? So I decided on 3.75 stars. I would say, like, if you're looking for a scary Stephen King book, I would still recommend The Shining and Salem's Lot over this one, I think. But this one does get really creepy, especially towards the end. It gets like horror movie level. Like, I can't wait to actually watch the movie that's based on this book now, because it definitely turned into like a horror movie type of, oh, this is probably such a good scary movie, but not necessarily a book I want to read. But I loved like the first like 60% of the book. I really enjoyed, and then it just took that turn. So 3.75 stars from me. And again, I just love his books so much, and I can't wait to read more of them. So with that being said, we are moving on to our next book in our TBR takedown, which is a book that has been sitting on my TBR for a very long time, and I am very excited to finally be getting to it. We have Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. So I've read The Love Hypothesis, Love on the Brain, Loathe to Love You, and Problematic Summer Romance. I loved those first three. Did not really like Problematic Summer Romance, like, really at all. I rated it 3 stars because I really love her writing and it was like fun, but it just really wasn't that great for me. But I saw people rating it 5 stars, so I honestly thought I was kind of like over her books, like I had moved past this sort of genre. But this book is making me realize that that's not true, and I've already started listening to the audiobook of it, because like I said, I thought that I was kind of past this, but it was on my TBR for so long, so I definitely wanted to like try it. So I actually started listening to it not too long ago to like decide if I could get into it, decide if I actually wanted to read it. So I'm currently on chapter 4, which is page 64. So I'm not too far into it, but I'm so enjoying it. It took like literally no time at all. Like after the first chapter I was like, oh yeah, I definitely just had a problem with Problematic Summer Romance, but like I definitely am still gonna like her books and want to read more of them. So this is our next book. Very excited. So like so far it's just like another STEM romance. I don't know too much about it so far, but once I get like more into it, I will talk to you guys about my feelings and everything. But I've been listening to this, and I think I'm going to continue listening to it because I'm really enjoying the audiobook version. The narrator of it's doing such a incredible job, and I'm so hooked and into it, so we're probably going to listen to this one. So this is our next book, Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. Okay, so in Love Theoretically, we're following our female main character, Elsie, and she's currently a teacher, and she hates it. So she's trying to get this new job, and meanwhile, she does like this fake dating thing. She's part of this app that does fake dating, and so she's fake dating this guy right now named Greg. And Greg happens to have an older brother. That is our male main character. His name is Jack, and he ends up being in charge of the person who is going up against Elsie for the new job that Elsie's trying to get. And so they're kind of like academic rivals, but at the same time, Jack doesn't know that Elsie is fake dating his brother. He thinks that they're like actually together, and so there's things that he's finding out about her that like Greg doesn't know, that she's like lying to Greg about, but she's not actually lying, they're just like fake dating, so like he doesn't need to know all those things. And so like they don't get off on like the best terms really, but it is just, it's so sweet right now. Like I don't know exactly the percentage I'm in. I think I'm around like 70%, but I have been loving listening to this book, and like honestly, like I really want to read all of her books now. Like there's a few that like more recent ones that I haven't really read, but now I really want to, because I'm enjoying this so much. It is so good, and usually I don't really like audiobooks for romance books. Like I usually like really don't like them. I don't think I've ever rated a romance book that I listened to higher than 3 stars, but this one from the beginning has been so good. So I can't wait to find out where this goes. It is just so cute and sweet so far, and I relate heavily to Elsie. Like, did Allie Hazelwood write this book about me? Am I Elsie? Okay, before I start talking, I need to let you guys know that I woke up with the worst crick in my neck. Like, I can't even like move, so if you see me like literally just like sitting here like a bot, that's why. It hurts really bad and I can like barely move. So anyways, yesterday morning I finished reading Love Theoretically, and I absolutely loved it. I'm rating it 4 stars just because like I don't think it's something that's going to necessarily stick with me, but it was so much fun. And like I said, actually I can't remember if I said this, but I usually don't like listening to romance books as audiobooks. I usually either get cringed out very easily, or I just can't get connected to any of the characters. But I really enjoyed this one like a lot, and I was sort of like worried that I was kind of past Allie Hazelwood's books, which was sad because in the past I really loved her books, but this one just like redefined my love for her books. So I am very excited about that because I'm gonna read more of them. I think that Elsie, which is funny because I while I'm editing this video, I realized that in the first book I read in this video and this book, they're both following characters named Elsie, which I think is really funny. But she is so relatable. Like I feel like she has so many qualities that I share. It's like so crazy to read about her. She feels so real, but she's a people pleaser. She just is doing things specifically to please other people constantly, and then Jack, our male main character, is helping her move past that. And I just feel like this is one of the most relatable stories that Allie Hazelwood has written. And it's a STEM romance. It's kind of like fake dating-ish, academic rivals. It's just so good. I absolutely loved this book. And like I've said like 100 times now, I can't wait to read more of her book. And okay, so during this whole video that I've been filming this, because it's been like several weeks now, I've listened to several audiobooks that I also want to talk to you guys about, because that was also a way for me to knock books off of my physical TBR. So first, the 2 last books in the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, we had Bad Blood and All In. Those might be mixed up. Wait, is that what they're called? Yeah, that's what those are. So those are the 3rd and 4th books in the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I can't give you much details on what these 2 actual books are about, but the whole series, you're basically following this group of older teenagers. Like, I think they're all 18, 17 in the first book, and then they like get older as the series goes on. And they all have these special abilities, and they're hired by the FBI to solve cold cases based on those abilities because they're really good at solving murders and stuff like that. So you're following all of these teenagers who have these abilities, and they're solving these murder cases, and it's very, very fun. And if you like Criminal Minds, I haven't watched Criminal Minds, but everyone says that if you like Criminal Minds, this is the series you should read. It's like a young adult Criminal Minds episode, and it was just so much fun. I loved the series so much. Overall, the whole series, like, I think honestly each book gets like a 4 stars for me. It's overall like a 4-star series. Like, it's not like I'm not totally obsessed with it, but it was like so cute, and I will always recommend this series. And then next, okay, this is a book that actually isn't on my physical TBR, but I want to include it in here because I did read it during the span of this video, and that is The Princess of the Wraiths. And basically this is just a book I did listen to this one. I will link it down below because it's not like traditionally like published, like it's not like a physical book or anything, but I will link down below where you can find it. And basically you're just following this boy as he goes through childhood and adulthood, and just the trauma and the fears and literally everything he goes through, heartbreak and everything. But at the same time, there's also like this science and spirituality element to it, and it was just so fascinating, and it was definitely so much different than what I usually read, but it was still like fun to get out of my comfort zone and everything, and I would recommend checking it out. Like I said, it is called The Princess of the Wraiths. I'll put a picture here, and like I said, I will link down below where you can find it. So at the beginning of this video, we had 41 books on my physical TBR, and I need to go back through because I can't remember if I've bought any books during the time that I've been filming this video or not. So I need to like do a count, so I will put the amount of books that we still have on our physical TBR here. But I know that we did cut it down quite a bit because we read 3 physical books and 2 audiobooks in this video. So that's something. That's a good little knockdown, so I'm proud of myself. We're getting there, and I'm actually gonna do like a book unhaul soon because I've sort of realized that I own a lot of books that I just don't have any interest in reading anymore. So that'll actually be a video in itself during Bookmas. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this TBR takedown episode 2. I can't wait for episode 3 eventually, because this is gonna be a never-ending series, to be honest, because my physical TBR will just grow on forever. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys so soon. Bye guys.